What is up, guys? So, time for another one of these. It's been a few weeks. I don't know. Sometimes I'm just not in the mood for streaming, so a week will go by. But now I'm in the mood. Solar Cinder is in here. Was it Scream? Um, are you talking about like Scream? Are you fucking with me because you know I hate Scream? Or third option, like the old, like 1980, 81 movie Scream? All of those, no, though, is the answer. But good to have you, man. So we have two hints. What is up, Dave? Dave, I think this is the first time that you've actually been in the chat for a live stream, which is awesome. Dave is a longtime supporter, which thank you as always, man. And they're a good friend. Which can't believe it's been like almost a year or so. Yeah, no, good guess though. What's up, Zodiac? So the film stars an actor who is in several 80s low budget horror films, slasher films, sometimes with his wife. May is here. How you doing, May? And hint number two, it's from 1980, so that narrows it down. And it belongs to a trilogy of just films that are masterpieces. Hey, Diva. How you doing? So 1980. I will also say it is not an American film. So that should narrow it down a decent amount. If not, I got a clip. That should give it away. Which actually I will play right now. If anyone will recognize the image and the score. That should give it right away for anyone who's seen the film or anyone who is a Italian horror fan or a Lucio Fulci fan or yeah, there you go, May. It is a Fulci film. And there should be an answer. Come on, guys. There should be an answer like right now. It has two titles. Well, more than that, like so many Italian films, but two main ones that it is known by. Christopher George, who's also in Pieces, which is one of my favorite slasher films. It is not zombies. May, we are saving that, me and Keith, for you to redo that on his channel. It's the other one. So you should know what it is. It is 1980s city. Oh, I gotta mute this fucking. It's always happens. I always forget to mute the YouTube part, and then I just start repeating. It just adds to the suspense. It's City of the Living Dead, aka The Gates of Hell, by Lucio Fulci. This is just a masterpiece of a movie, and it is on Look Movie, which I suggest if you're gonna watch along, just watch it on that. I'll get the link up here because it's on Tubi, but then you got to deal with the ads. Let me put that in the comments. Now, for people who never seen a Fulci film and you're gonna watch, excited because Lucio Fulci is one of my top directors, and this film is a masterpiece of Italian horror and horror in general. It comes so close to the Beyond, and the film that Fulci did right after this. It's all in the Gates of Hell trilogy, with House by the Cemetery being the third one. All of them are just absolutely masterful films. We got Sean in here, and he is a Italian horror fan. We are watching City of the Living Dead, Sean, in a few minutes here. But it comes so close to the Beyond for me. The Beyond is my favorite Fulci movie. This is like right there. And the score is by Fabio Frizzi. Just like the Beyond is phenomenal. But the whole ending sequence of this movie, for those who have seen it, I'm not going to spoil it, but the whole ending is one of my favorite endings of the film. Like, it's just so good. The score, the imagery, just this whole film is so surreal. Like, this is just him, Fulci, at his gothic best, along with The Beyond for me. Yeah, Sean, that's my favorite too. The Beyond is just absolutely perfect. So is this movie, though. So it's very hard. Like, this is so just below it, like I said. Yeah, they're loosely linked, May. Like, they're not like, I mean, this and The Beyond actually have a gate of hell, like, in it. House by the Cemetery doesn't really. Like, it's very loosely connected, but also another phenomenal film by him. I always forget who does the score for House by the Cemetery. It's not Fulci. He did the first two, this one and The Beyond, and Zombie. A lot of Fulci's films he scored. So let me know, people who are going to watch, if you bring the movie up. Did I post that link? Yes, I did. And we'll get everyone ready, and then we'll watch this masterful film. Very Lovecraft. Fulci wanted to go very Lovecraft for this movie. This was right after, I think this was right after Contraband, but one of his non-horror films that I think he left, like, not even when the film was done, to go start City of the Living Dead. But this is right after Zombie in his horror canon. Hey, Teresa, welcome then. We are all horror movie fanatics, and we are going to be watching Lucio Fulci's City of the Living Dead. I should change that on the bottom there, since it's no longer a mystery. Change the title on this quick. Yes, May, welcome to the new people. We're starting a new world order. If I break up for a sec, it's just because I'm switching tabs to change the title. Actually, fuck that. I'm not doing that extra work. If they want, people not watching, they want to know what the movie is, the mystery, let them come in and find out. That's the way we're doing that. So I'm basically, and I told May this, that basically picked this movie for her because I couldn't think of anything else to do this morning. I was like, shit, I didn't even think of a movie. I said, all right. And I remembered, May, you saying you missed this one on Gore's channel. So I said, all right, we'll do that. I can watch this movie whenever. I'm probably just watching on a Look movie too. Bring that up. So how many people here have never seen this movie? And another question, how many people have never seen a Lucio Fulci film? That would be interesting to hear. Indeed, link is here. Just the imagery in this movie is fantastic. Like, it's very, very surreal. It's very, very, very nightmarish feeling, almost like David Lynch-esque a little bit, even though, like, I mean, he had Eraserhead already at this point, but very, very dreamlike throughout this whole movie. And the effects are phenomenal. Like, there's a few scenes in particular that the gore effects are just phenomenal in this. And it is a zombie film, in a way. They're not real, like, actual Romero-esque zombies. Kind of like supernatural zombies. Good to know, May. He won by a decent amount, and I will have a video out on a film by him later tonight, which I cannot wait for. Only director that I have to watch all of his movies with headphones on, because the sound design is just absolutely phenomenal in every movie, every episode of Twin Peaks, everything he's ever done. So everyone who's going to watch, let me know when people are ready. I will count it down, and we will talk about this masterpiece of a film. We have Armageddon watch party tomorrow night. That'll be fun. That's such a nostalgic film for me. Then we're going to be watching and talking about the Hatchet films for the next month, which I freaking love Hatchet. How can you not like Victor Crowley if you're a slasher fan, especially? All right, perfect. All right, Teresa is ready. May is ready. Diva, you gonna watch? And Awesome That You Never Saw It. So in a minute or so, I will count down. All right, cool. All right, on go. 3, 2, 1, go. It's exciting. People have not seen this. What is up, Noel? You want to watch along with us? The link is above. And also, again, right there. Just started. Yeah, the scream's phenomenal. And you'll hear it again. We have Michael Suavi helped work on this. He worked with Argento a bunch also, and went on to make some great films too with The Church, which is kind of pretty much Demons 3, and what else did he do? Stage Fright, and a few other great films by him. All right. The music is amazing. I'm not sure if it's the same house. It very well can be. I never looked into that, but I do know that the library in the Beyond is the same library set or same location that they did for the library scene in the House by the Cemetery. Like the scene with the tarantulas in coming and eating the guy's face in the Beyond. That library set's the same one as in House by the Cemetery a year later. Oh, Burnt Offerings is a great one, Teresa. Jessica Lange? No, Karen Black. It's Karen Black, yeah. Great movie. If you want a masterpiece of a ghost film from the 70s, that was very hard to find, that I didn't even see till recently, and now it's already become like a top 25 film for me. Mia Farrow's in it. The Haunting of Julia from 77. It's free on YouTube. It's uploaded. Amazing film. Yeah, Karen Black. Yeah, the atmosphere in this film is just phenomenal. So they're psychics of some sort, and they're doing a seance. What's her name? Catriona McCall is in this film and the two other films after this, In the Gates of Hell trilogy with Fulci. And she's phenomenal in all three of them. It was so great to see Karen Black in Rob Zombie's House of a Thousand Corpses when it came out, that he was able to bring her back. She's such an icon too. I think this film, as same with The Beyond, but maybe this one even more so, I think has some of the best close up on the character's eyes that Fulci is just known for and uses all the time. Those real close in shots. I think this is some of the best camera work in a film by Fulci, for sure. So this priest, Father Thomas, hangs himself in this town, which, again, he wanted to be very Lovecraft with this. The Dunwich Horror is a Lovecraft story. This town is, he named it Dunwich. And now this priest kills himself, and it's not a good thing. Yeah, that's just all Fulci. But in this, I think it's the best examples. She's a great screamer too, McCall. Mary in this, the main girl. She has some good screaming abilities. I love the tombstone with the saying on it. Mary's dead. Not really. This old psychic lady too is great in this too. I've never seen her in anything else. I'm almost sure that's New York right there, the exterior shots. Fulci used to film a lot of his films partially in New York. Actually, May, give me a timestamp because my thing froze for a second. I don't want to like say things before it happens. All right. This detective guy's hilarious. The Book of Enoch. That is interesting too. That in the Beyond, they have a different name for a similar book, like an old ancient book that opens up a gateway to hell. Yeah, see, there you go. She has a cameo. I don't know. Look, movie. My Wi-Fi was acting up yesterday, like bad last night. It was pouring here. came out of the floor. The flames came out of nowhere. Awesome. Thank you. It's actually like right where I was, so that worked out good. Just the way the older lady, the old psychic, the red under her eyes. I mean, eyes, as people are Fulci fans, are his thing. Like he's like both damage to and close up shots of. Yeah, that's right. That always happens. That's why this Look movie is pretty damn good. There's no ads on it. It's better than doing watches with Tubi, because then everyone gets ads all at different times. That's like a train wreck. I love the sound of the wind and the fucking crow cawing and stuff. This guy is so creepy, like for no reason. That's funny though. Yeah, I've never seen a sex doll you just throw on the ground and it inflates completely. Like, I'm sure it exists nowadays, but back in 1980, maybe, who knows? Funny, just the same. Exactly. That's such a creepy ass shot. That's so Fulci too. Just gross as shit. Awesome effect though. Yeah, it all works out. I can't tell you that, Mac. I just can't. So I won't. That's never really explained either. Like why that's there. And I'm not sure 100% it looks like a baby, but it could be like a small animal, but it looks like a baby. It's got feet. But they never explain why that's there or anything like that. There's Christopher George. Fulci had him cast thinking that it would help with profits for the film, as he was in like a piece of mortuary, decent amount of films, the late 70s and 80s, with his wife Linda Day George. Bastard. Fulci did not have a good relationship with him on set. He referred to him as that dog with the cigar. Fulci would call him. They had a very turbulent relationship, and it's funny because he always has a cigar, mostly unlit, like almost in all scenes in a lot of movies that Christopher George is in. He just likes having an unlit cigar in his mouth. Weird stuff is happening in Dunwich. Now, they were originally going to call this Twilight of the Dead, but they actually got a cease and desist from whoever owned the rights to George Romero's Dawn of the Dead, and said that it sounds way too similar to our film. And they ended up calling it Gates of Hell, and then it was released in America as City of the Living Dead. This bartender saying, yeah, it's a truck driving by. I wonder if the truck vibration thing expands to the big ass crack in the wall with the smoke coming out too. Hey, what up, Eddie? I did not know it was even coming out or anything. I don't really have a lot of physical. I have like hardly any physical media anymore, and don't really collect many things anymore nowadays. But that is something I would like to have, so I'll definitely look into it. Thanks for letting me know about it. That's awesome, having a Joe Spinell plushie. Sandra, this woman, she's petting her kitty like Dr. Evil, like with Mr. Bigglesworth, like he's making evil plans. I don't know about her whole thing here about wanting to marry her father as a little girl, because I feel like I need more statistics, like before I could agree with her that all girls want to marry their fathers. Yeah, those movies have so much nostalgia to me too. By the way, if any of you don't like maggots, you're not gonna like a scene in this movie. Heads up. Really? That I'm very, very interested in. I love the psychic. That's really cool. I got to look into both of those. That's great stuff. That's a video I got to do soon. I've been saying that for a while to do the psychic. Freaking cat jump scares. I hate cat jump scares in movies. All the cemetery shots look amazing in this. Conquest, I saw it once a very long time ago. Never saw it again. So I honestly couldn't even tell you. I'll cover it eventually, just to, as I go through Fulci's whole filmography and stuff. Definitely not doing that with Bava though. Like his non-horror films, maybe one or two, but I mean, there's so many Bava films that he like finished directing and wasn't even credited for. Like, I'm not diving into any of that. This one guy looks like an Italian Vince Vaughn in a way, a little bit. One of these grave workers. Beautiful tombstone, so. So Justin Ayers, he looks like Vince Vaughn. He right? Yeah, man. I never noticed that actually till this watch. He does look like him. This is such a great scene. Fulci was very hard to work with a lot of people. He was a very kind of arrogant man, but he knew what he wanted. And this whole scene, Fulci actually like got pissed off with McCall and said like she started blinking every time a certain thing happened in the scene, and he didn't want that. So he got into this coffin and did the exact shot without blinking at all, and said, "If I can do it, you can do it. It's easy." Like that's funny. That's the way he was. Yeah, Fatty, that's right. That is true in Cannibal Ferox. I haven't seen Ferox in a while. Probably my second favorite behind Cannibal Holocaust. Mountain of the Cannibal God is good too. Or is that the same one? So many of them have different different titles. I always confuse those. I'm not like a huge like Mondo horror film guy. Can you imagine being buried alive? That's got to be like the worst fate, more than burning or or drowning. Like that's got to be terrible. And yes, he does love his blondes. That's such a great shot of her in the coffin. Now the exterior shots were shot in New York, and all the interior of the coffin shots were in Rome. They were shot there. These people work for like 5 fucking minutes. And they're like, I'm out. Yes, me, Sean, and Keith at Gorophobe's channel all are the Italian horror geeks of this community. That is because Italian horror is fucking amazing. Some of the greatest movies. Hell yeah, we have. I can't do fingernails, man. That's like the one thing in movies. I've said it on the channel many times. I can watch all the dismemberment and gore in the world. Fingernails, I can't do that. No, yeah, well, we'll change that for sure. Hang around here enough. I mean, the chances he hears her, I mean, are like ridiculous, but whatever. It's such a great scene. Like you feel like you're in this freaking coffin, man. I do now. So thanks. Yeah, I do now. I'll add that to the list. Doing the score for this on keyboards for the ending score by Fritzi was so much fun to do. Same with the Cannibal Holocaust theme. Die. Well, thank you, man. That means a lot. They are definitely fun to do, especially doing the horror scores. That's such great sound design when she opens her mouth for like a gasp, and then it cuts out and there's no sound. I love that. Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, it ties into the story, but on when I did my video for it on this last rewatch of it, it went down a bit for me. Like I've always loved New York Ripper, but maybe it's just the mood I was in. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. Every time the pickaxe would go into the coffin, she would blink. And she said in an interview like years later, it's like a natural reaction. And Fulci was getting pissed, so he hopped in the coffin. He swung the pickaxe, Christopher George, Fulci, one shot, no blinking at all. And he said, "I could do it. You do it now." That's hilarious. There you go. See, that's what's great about this community. Recommendations everywhere. That's why I can't do like I mean I have friends who do channels like this and stuff. That's just it's talking about just the same popular horror films and franchises on end, nonstop, week after week. That's great. I mean, I know people love these movies like Friday the 13th and Halloween and Scream and all of that, but I can't do that. Like I need to be talking about like, different movies all the time. If not, it gets boring. I mean, even some of my favorite films I can't talk about like on end for weeks. Oh yeah, just wait a bit. Fulci was known as like the grandfather of gore, like the Italian grandfather of gore. His gore is the gore effects are fantastic in this movie. Tenebrae is so good. The whole ending, just the use of the white walls and the splatter, it's so fucking epic. One thing, if you're not used to Italian horror, is the dubbing. It does take a little bit to get used to. Italian horror in general takes getting accustomed to, and not everybody's gonna click with it. It is very different. I mean, it's foreign. It's a foreign country making different movies different ways than we're used to. If you live in America or any other country, so. But usually after a few like very good recommendations, people check out, it starts to click for them. I don't even notice the dubbing anymore, unless it's atrociously bad. Yeah, the score is fantastic. They could do no wrong, man. Goblin. Even after they broke up and they were segmented and can call themselves Goblin, still phenomenal. Fulci loves the name Bob as characters in his films too. Like House by the Cemetery with the kid Bob that I'd want to punch his face in, man, every time I watch that movie. He's one of those kids actors in a horror film with one of the most punchable faces. Hey, my Care Bear. Thanks for popping in. I know you're at work. Probably May. That's probably exactly why. He's like, let's just call him fucking Bob. Fulci, you've used that name in the last 6 films. It's like, whatever, Bob. All right, cool. He's got great cameos in a decent amount of his films. He always chooses to do them tastefully. On the opposite side of that is M. Night Shyamalan. I can't stand his cameos. Like, I get it. He loves Alfred Hitchcock. We all know that. His cameos are way too much for me. Shyamalan. I'm not a big Shyamalan fan to begin with. Oh, I didn't even see the haircut thing. Thank you. Yeah, I had to. I needed one. So I like Science. Science is good. Me and Carrie were talking about this the other night. The Scary Movie 3 or whatever. Trump ruined some of it for me. Those Scary Movie movies, yeah, have ruined a lot of things for me. Like, I'm sure many people. But I like Signs. I think The Sixth Sense is his best film. I think he started out on top and then just went downhill ever since. But he has some good films. I love Split. I think that's the second best film. Sucks that Glass was so disappointing. It's just another thing on top of the pile of things that makes me just have the strong disdain for Scream and that I have. It did not help at all. The Scary Movie films. This scene right here is phenomenal. The gore, you want gore? Here it is, and an amazing effect too. It's another thing with Fulci and Italian horror in general. They don't shy away from shit. So this just goes on and on for a while. I'm pretty sure Zodiac. You have a decent horror knowledge. I can tell. You would probably know this. She's also in House by the Cemetery in the beginning, right? Who gets it to the head? The one in the car here. I'm pretty sure it's her. Those shots of all the shots in this film, but all the shots of Father Thomas are just excellent. Yeah, I know it kills a lot of people who watch me. I can't explain it, man. I really can't. I try to with videos I've done on it the best I could. I still can't completely figure it out. I love how Father Thomas just appears in front of her and all of this eye camera work. And so this is what I mean that I think this is Fulci's best film for all his close up eye shots and stuff. It's so masterful here. The bleeding out of the eyes, that she's in a trance looking at him. So good. This looks so amazing. Love you too, Carrie. I'll talk to you soon. Oh, you've seen nothing yet, man. If the eyes are killing you already. This is an iconic scene in horror too. It looks so fucking nasty. It looks so good. They actually had the actress had to spit up baby veal intestines. Oh, you're eating? Yeah, I'd advise stop doing that. Like immediately. Like I said, goes Fulci by now. Goes on for a bit. That's too funny. And it just squishes the guy's head. Excellent scene. Excellent effects. I can't remember. I always blank on who does the effects for a lot of Fulci's films. I know it starts with a G. His last name or his first name. I always forget it. But Amazing practical effects. I love Christopher George. He just has such a likability to him. He has a lot of charisma. Speaking of the movie Pieces, I was talking to Ian Sarah, the guy who played the main kid, Kendall, in Pieces. We were going back and forth emails stuff. He was down. He's like, "Yeah, I'll come on the channel." I was going to have him on for an interview. Then he just fucking disappeared. Happens, but that would have been cool to have him on. Maybe I'll hear back from him. That was like the only like real twist of Split was that it was linked to Unbreakable, which I was fine with. So I was like, good. Like that's another thing. And he kind of did this with Knock at the Cabin, his most recent film, Shyamalan. He's just got. I've been saying it for years. He's got to stop with the twists. Just like make the new movie twist that there's no twist, and then that'll be something different. And he kind of did it with Knock at the Cabin, but that movie wasn't that good. Good idea, not executed well. Yeah, it's Unbreakable, Split, and then Glass. So I've always just assumed all these weird worms and things and shit showing up are just linked to the Father Thomas thing and all the supernatural stuff happening here. Like the baby May from earlier. Anthropophagus is great. And I did actually one of these mystery videos streams with his Absurd. May, I think that was maybe one of your first, if not your first, like watch parties with me. It was Absurd. They're like it's very Halloweenish. Awesome film though. I got to do Anthropophagus. I never cared too much for Unbreakable. Glass was a big disappointment for me, especially after Split. Split is leagues better for me than both of them for sure. So Father Thomas killed himself, and it opened up the gates of hell. And now they got to close it before All Saints Day, or they're screwed. Yeah, Unbreakable was what, 06? Something like that, mid 2000s, I want to say, early 2000s. Oh, yeah, I have it. All right, cool. I was gonna say, I was running out of nicotine. Forgot I have another one. For some reason, that little thing of him just pulling out her nose ring makes me go like, eh. More than that whole scene just now with the girl puking her insides out. That has no effect. But him just go boink and pulling out the dead girl's nose ring made me go, eh. Very strange. This woman in the casket reminds me of the corpse, the iconically scary as shit corpse from Mario Bava's Black Sabbath. That is just like one of the scariest dead bodies in the film. Sure, they all blame Bob. Let's all blame Bob always in a Fulci film. I mean, it's not really a hint because he does this all the time, but it has an actress who he's used in a few of his projects. Again, I mean, he uses people all the time, and so it's not that big of a hit. From the late 80s to today, I'll narrow it down that way too. And it's not near the beginning of that time frame. Not Wild at Heart, although that is a great one. I will cover all his stuff eventually. The only director, when I watch his films every single time, I have to listen with headphones all the time. The sound design in Lynch's films are just sublime. No, not Mia Farrow, man. Like this film is so, like I said, surreal and shit. It feels like a fever dream, like a lot of Fulci stuff, and that's why I think is one reason The Beyond gets the edge for me over this. I feel like he perfected all of that with The Beyond, just that surrealistic nightmare feeling. Nope, not Blue Velvet. So now with those two out, there should be a decent idea for you guys. I love this line. She says she's hungry. He says like there's a lollipop in the glove box. That's so funny. Graduation Day. That's another slasher. Christopher George was in. Not a good movie for me. I've never liked Graduation Day. Slasher films are my favorite genre of horror. That's why my slasher playlist is like by far like the biggest one. But not a fan of Graduation Day. But George is good as usual in it. I just love how all the coffins look too in this. Echo, Echo, Echo. What's up, buddy? How you doing, man? City of the Living Dorks. Yeah, Elephant Man is a great film and one that I don't watch too often, actually, of Lynch's. That one will probably come a little later. Not a favorite Lynch of mine, but great film. I love how the zombies in this film, like I said, aren't like traditional zombies. They're like supernatural zombies. And we see that kind of in the Beyond also. They can like teleport and just appear and disappear. I didn't kill an Echo. You're thinking Karen who killed me. That's all I'll not say. Yeah, every time Echo comes in the chat, we should just have the psycho music queued up. Ding, 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 ding. Ah! That's his intro music. We could also put his face on like Ichi the Killer too. Put that image up with the music playing. The score is so fucking good here too. That's too funny. I feel so bad for this kid, man. This kid gets terrified. Awesome, man. Yeah, get House by the Cemetery. House is my third favorite in the trilogy, but still a epic masterpiece film. That's such a great shot of his sister as the zombie there when she appears. She wanted to catch me. See, like this kid's fine. Bob and House by the Cemetery. The kid's voice, man. It's the voice mixed with the face. It's too much. Like my whole House by the Cemetery video last year was borderline child abuse against that kid for the entirety of the video, pretty much. Yeah, that's the best way to watch it. You guys are too funny. Yes, he does, Fatty. He's more tolerable than that for me. It's got to be the voice, the dubbing. He's not as obnoxious in Manhattan Baby. He still is, but something about him in House by the Cemetery just gets me. Same with Danny Torrance in the Shining miniseries. That kid actor, same punchable face. Like it's terrible, but it's funny as shit. I want to replay Arkham Knight actually, or actually finish it. I stopped to like the last few missions after it came out. I got to finish that game. All the Arkham games are very fun, actually. Ever since I started playing the Dark Souls games like a decade ago, I don't play much like other games to completion. I get bored very easily and then just say, I'm just going to go back and challenge on Dark Souls. I just downloaded Far Cry 6, though. which I have not played, and I adore Giancarlo Esposito. So, and I loved Far Cry 5 and New Dawn. So, hoping it's good. All the lighting is phenomenal too, like off the house, off the porch and stuff here. Like Fulci might not be as stylistic, like with color usage and lighting as Argento and Bava, but I always thought that Fulci was a lot more dreamlike, a lot more gloomy, a lot more haunting in a way. His films, especially his gothic horror films, like Zombie through like the mid '80s, a little later on. Yeah, I got to check that out, man. That sounds good. There was a Indian film from last year that a friend turned me on to. What the hell is it called? Oh, why am I blanking on the name? It'll come to me. But it very, very Fulci like for an Indian like Hindi film. Excellent movie too. Why can't I? I'm blanking on the name. Blur. That's right. Blur from last year. Excellent film, and the intro especially very, very Fulci, and it's almost like a spiritual sequel to the Beyond, like stylistically, like not story wise. It's great if you can track it down. Yeah, India, Thailand, especially Indonesia, have been killing it for years now in the horror genre, and it's great that Netflix distributes a lot of them. Like they have a terrible horror selection, Netflix for the most part, but when it comes to foreign horror, they got some great stuff, and it's good that they put it out there. All of Rocky Soroya's films, I adore him. Hopefully, I'll be having him on the channel this month. Wreck, amazing film. Wreck 2, also great. The Crazies, both are good, yes. Demons, fantastic. So it's Demons 2. Wow, that sounded great with headphones, actually. The zombie growls when they were talking, it came right out of the right side, like deep. And that was cool. Great sound design. The score is so goddamn good, man. Fabio Frisi is just unreal. Yeah, I've done a few. They're not the easiest to do at all. I actually probably won't be doing many of them in the future. Speaking of Rocky Soroya, and a few of his films, I did two of his doll movies. Sean's like that too. Sean says like I can't do a watch party, be on a stream, watch a movie, and concentrate with subtitles. Sweet. I know a few people doing that, which makes sense because one, people love the beach in the summer, and sharks are one thing you don't want at a beach. No, I have not, but I would absolutely fucking kill to. Absolutely. Probably my favorite Italian horror composer. Like, I mean, it's so close with Goblin for Argento stuff, but amazing. Yeah, so yeah, that's what I mean with Fulci. It's like just the way that they feel like old school horror films. Like there's certain shots in his films that look like it can come right out of a silent film, but then you add just the score on top of it, and so it just feels so like horror. Like it just perfectly encapsulate. Why can't I fucking speak like usual? Perfectly captures just the horror feeling, like classic horror. Echo Shark. Dun, 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 but it has like a reverb effect, so it's the echo, dun, 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 and it just like blurs together. All of these shots here going through the town with the fog and stuff are fantastic. I mean, that's one thing, Echo, I always give you credit for, man, is those type of I don't want to say shitty films, but like the lower grade films, those I can't watch often. I mean, they're fun now and then. I don't think I've seen like more than one Sharknado. Maybe the sequel. I've had Cocaine Shark sitting in my email like for weeks. A friend sent me. I've not had a desire to look at it. That makes sense. Yeah, I remember you saying once that your Shark Rant was your most viewed. Most viewed stream too is Shark. So yeah, you're entitled to your Shark Month. Absolutely. There's Bob, just sleeping in Ant's car, her dad's car. Oh, those type of movies that make the funnest streams, like the double feature Bardemic that we did a while back. This is a great scene. Great kill here. Amazing effect. I'm sure it's everywhere because nobody's paying for that shit. Like, are you serious? That it's probably streaming everywhere. It was on, pretty sure it was on Tubi when I covered and did a video on the first one, which was hilarious to do. And then we did a double feature watch party. We dragged like three people into it. We watched Birdemic too because I never saw it at that point. And Echo did, and so he was telling me about it. I said we got to watch this. So we dragged three people into it that have never seen any of the Birdemics. And then after the second one, we said, "All right, you want to watch the first one?" And then we just went and watched the first one. It was like till like 6 in the morning or 5 in the morning, something like that. It's ridiculous and funny. Favorite kill? It's the one with the woman vomiting her insides out. I mean, this one's amazing too with the drill, but you never see that scene vomiting her guts out in another film. So it goes to that. This kind of reminds me, even though this came first, of my favorite slasher kill in Intruder from 1989, Scott Spiegel with the bandsaw kill. Very similar, just with a drill going through the head, but the bandsaw just makes it so much better. Favorite slasher kill. Yes, so then we did Birdemic 3. And we will do Birdemic 4 whenever that comes out. And when we could find it. Gareth was our savior with that. Video Tasties. He tracked it down. He knew that me and you were looking for it. Because we were both looking hardcore. Although, yes, the drill's awesome. This scene here is ridiculously amazing. But there's a funny story behind it with Fulci. One of those scenes coming up. Oh, did he just pass, or he passed a while ago? That's I couldn't. I always blank on his name. That was what I was trying to think of earlier. I knew it's something with a G. Yeah, absurd. Like the bandsaw going through the top of his head. Yeah, similar to that. Oh, did he? That sucks. I didn't know that. Oh, rest in peace, Giovanni. And yeah, Echo, that scene is amazing with the tension. So good. Speaking of Goblin, I got to do a cover of the Suspiria theme. I've been saying that to myself for a week or so now. It's a long story. Yeah, I started doing that now, adding them to the end of videos. Yeah, this scene here with the maggots. Someone on the cast, on the crew, I forget who it was or if they knew who it was. Might have been Christopher George for all I know because of the turbulent relationship they had. But somebody took some of these maggots and put it in Fulci's pipe after this scene, and Fulci didn't figure it out until he smoked the pipe a few times already, and he got furious. I mean, anybody would, but he even blamed it for like his later health issues and stuff, like thinking that just possibly from smoking these maggots. That's too funny, man. Yeah, ew sums it up. There's so many maggots on the ground. There's like just patches stuck to their faces and shit. That's so funny. They're all over everything except for them, really, except for the little patches here and there. I'm sure they were shaking the shit out of themselves though to get every single one off of them. He really had to wipe that with a handkerchief after. Oh, come on, man. He just got blasted in the face all over him in the room with thousands of maggots. He takes a handkerchief and wipes off the phone. Like, I can't touch that. I take rain of blood. I would not want maggots rained all over me. Right? That's what I always thought. I can definitely see it being George. I'm not sure if it ever was revealed who it was. This poor kid, man. He looks like he's gonna have a stroke. I love that shot of the blood dripping from the ceiling into the glass of milk. It's such a small thing. I love that shot. Yeah, me too. Blood, you can just wash that shit off and be like, all right. I mean, maggots, they're crawling all over the place. I don't know. Rain of blood, you can just close your eyes and pretend it's just rain for the most part. You can't close your eyes and pretend it's not maggots coming at you. Strawberry milk. And that's how it was invented. Thank you, Fulci. Oh, they 100% were real maggots. May. Yeah, they were absolutely real maggots. Which, I mean, good for all the actors that they were cool with that. I'm sure they said, like, at least buy me fucking dinner tonight to Fulci. I love this, the main score here. I mean, it's so similar to Zombies score, but I prefer this. It's basically what you're going to prefer is which melody you like better, because they're all structured exactly the same, like Zombies theme and this theme. This one just the melody's so much better for me. Only a few hours before All Saints Day, and the world is fucked. Yeah, right. I love his look in Part 7. That's my favorite look of Jason. Kane Hodder's first role. Actually, I have a Jason figure, a movie maniac from the '90s or so. It's him from New Blood. That's what we were saying earlier, Fatty. May brought it up, asking if it was. So there's your answer, May. It wasn't a reuse set, but I know the library set in the Beyond is the same one as in House by the Cemetery, like 100%. Same library room. Oh, you did? That's cool. You got to send me a picture of that. I love the way Emily's zombie face looks, and all the head squishes look fantastic in this too. Actually makes me think of Lynch again, and if anyone's seen, The Return, Twin Peaks season 3, I won't spoil it, but there's an episode with a character who kills people almost identically. So I wonder if Lynch was inspired by Fulci a little bit. Yeah, I did know that. That's a miracle. That's awesome that it's still there. Kid's wearing a Yankees jacket. Just the visual imagery in this film is and the Beyond and all so many of Fulci's films, but this especially and the Beyond are so phenomenal. Everything looks so desolate. Like this kid walking down the street here, everything looks so eerie, just still. Just the atmosphere is through the roof in this film. This poor kid, man. See, if it was Bob, I would just be laughing the entire time. It'd be like, Bob. I feel bad for this kid. Poor John John. And again, just great pan and shots, great eye shots. Yeah, right. This is such a great film to watch. Like in the pitch black, there's no lights on, nothing. It's so hard for me to watch movies with lights. Like that's why I don't really brighten up my videos that much. I got to keep the ambiance. I got to keep the feeling. Yeah, exactly. Mommy, mommy, I saw the girl in the window, mommy. The last 20 minutes now of this film is in my top 10 endings to a movie of all time. Memories. How you doing, Mem? How you doing? Hope all is well in France. Like that's one thing I could say. The ending to this so much better than the Beyond, and the Beyond is like I said, perfect. The ending to this film is so much better for me though. The score once they get into the final like area, and the score and the imagery and the shots and the sound design, everything is just perfect. I love this radio broadcast too. Oh yeah. I think it's interesting too. I've always loved that Kubrick. Even Kubrick had enough respect for David Lynch that he made the whole cast of The Shining watch Eraserhead to say like that's the feel I want with The Shining. Love that. Oh, ever since I first heard that behind the scenes story. May. They got Schlitz on tap though at that bar. If you find yourself in Dunwich with the gate of hell open, why don't you wait until All Saints Day, hang out there, have a nice few Schlitzes. And I love the fact too how McCall and Christopher George are together the whole movie, and Jerry is on his own with Sandra in certain scenes, but they just meet at the very end of this movie. And then I'll save something else for later, but love that how they're not on screen at all until the last half hour of this movie. Now, if she says it, guess what? It's All Saints Day. So keep that in mind. Yeah, I'm sure this bar guy now, he doesn't think it's fucking vibrations from a truck going on anymore. Love the lighting behind the zombies. Looks so good. Like there's some good that's some great color usage and lighting in a Fulci film like that. He uses color lighting very sparingly compared to like Argento and Bava and others, but when he does use it, it's so effective. The girl got pink. I love Christopher George's line. He's like, "Lady had a vision, so let's open it." Yes, very similar. Like the sparing usage. I mean, even Argento. I mean, he's. I feel like he's always over described as like with the color usage and stuff. It's really only Suspiria Inferno that are his real like visually like with the lighting and the color like stunning films. Besides those two, I mean, the rest of his films they're still gorgeous to look at, of course, but those are like his two films known for the color usage and everything. And I mean like throughout like the whole movie, just like a marvel of color and lighting and stuff. Same with Bava's, and I think Bava was even better with it. I mean, Kill Baby Kill and Lisa and the Devil, and it's so something. Bava never made a bad movie. this whole crypt looks fantastic. Like, what great set dressing. All of it looks so good, and it looks so eerie. The atmosphere is amazing. This whole ending. Yeah, he was, man. Like, Kill Baby Kill is, and Lisa and the Devil are tied pretty much for my favorite Bava film. But Kill Baby Kill, the color usage in that film is off the charts. Like, there's just purple here, and then like yellow over here, and green over here, and in every shot through the whole film, just sporadic, perfectly placed, different color lighting. It's It's just masterfully done. After all the shit she has been through and seen, the rat still scares the shit out of her. Now, again, I just said it's past midnight. Yeah, I love him in everything. Mortuary, Pieces, especially because it's a favorite slasher of mine. This, um, what else? I said Graduation Day earlier, even though I don't care for the film. He's great in it. He's great in everything. Love this transmission here. The radio. Yeah, I know, right? did not turn out well for him. So amazing. Fucking rats, man. Speaking of rats, that's another fun Italian film. Rats by was that Bruno Mattei? Yeah. I've been talking to Greta, trying to get her on the channel. She said she's maybe later in the year she's booked with like conventions and stuff through the summer. I'd love to talk with her. Greta, she seems so funny. Oops, Sandra's back. Oops. Goodbye, Christopher George. Actually, Echo, it was you who gave me the idea months and months ago when we were on a stream or watch party together, and I was talking about interviews I was trying to get, and you mentioned said you should get the chick from Demons who transforms first because she's like on everything. And I thought of that like a month afterwards, and I messaged her. I've talked with her a little bit on Instagram. Seems like such a sweet woman and hysterical. Yeah, she follows me on Twitter. Her Twitter description is hysterical. It's just quotes. It says that black chick from all them, that black chick from all them 80s Italian horror films, bro. So funny. I complimented her on that first time. Like she responded and we started talking. I guess Goraphobe didn't see my message. I messaged Goraphobe May earlier, right before this. I mean, it was so short notice, but when we were talking about it in his watch the other night of the movies by Fulci you missed, and I said I wanted to have him on, so I said I was gonna. I told him the film I was gonna do. I said if you want to hop on, hop on at any time. But he must have not seen it. Always good to have Keith on for Italian horror for Fulci. This crypt looks amazing. All the skeletons and bones and shit all over the place. Yeah, that's what I figured, man. I figured he was probably sleeping. Hell House is great. I did videos on the three of those early on. Third one, I don't care for that much, even though the ending is pretty good. Yeah, Echo is the fun person. Funniest of all. I don't know. Right here, when the bass drum kicks in and the fucking hand raises out of the ground to the end. Perfect. Sweet. Can't wait to see it, man. So good. That stained glass looks phenomenal too. Can you imagine seeing all these fucking zombies coming at you? Get out of here. And it's not even a lot of them, but these are like super telepathic, crazy supernatural zombies. Now Father Thomas just appears there. Looks great. This is what I was saying earlier. Like the shots of Father Thomas here and the eye zoom ins on his eyes, the zoom in on her and her eye starts bleeding and stuff. Could be right out of a silent film from like the early 1900s, a silent horror film. Just with the score added and the sounds and everything, it just elevates it. But it's very old school gothic horror, and a lot of Fulci's stuff from the late 70s, early 80s was like that. And it's my favorite. I'm not huge on his giallos. compared to other Italian horror makers. All the zombies combust and they're on fire. That looks so good. Yeah, these are one of those scenes, man, that I just like get transfixed in. It's the only time on this channel you hear me shut the fuck up is watching certain movies, certain scenes of them. And Father Thomas is no more. It really is, man. It's completely hypnotic. It's just trance-inducing. Everything, the atmosphere, the visuals, the lighting, the set dressing, the design of all the zombies and Father Thomas, the score, the sound design, it goes on and on. The editing, the camera work, it's just perfect in every way. But then the ending, no fucking idea what this means. I mean, I have a theory because Fulci actually had a different ending and it didn't work out somehow, and he had to just think in post-production, and this is what we get. So they climb out of the tomb, Jerry and Mary. John's safe, runs towards them. They're all laughy. Then the mood just shifts. Mary screams because John's running towards her. Then the scream just breaks apart. No idea what that means. Like I said, you just had to think of something on the spot. But that's why I said for two different lines of dialogue to keep in mind. When she says before they go into the tomb that, oh, it's already All Saints Day. Then Christopher George says it's past midnight, or one of them says it when they're going into the tomb. So I'm just taking it as they failed on closing the gateway to hell and the world is fucked. That's the only thing I can take from that. So if anyone has any other interpretation, or let me know, but that's what I've always taken from that. Besides that, it was just like a totally concocted ending, like on the spot. The original ending, I forgot what it was supposed to be or anything like that, but how'd everyone enjoy it who have never seen it before? Because I think most of you. Such an amazing Fulci film, such an amazing horror film, and such an amazing score. Which elevates it a lot. It's kind of like Candyman. I always say with Candyman that if it didn't have Philip Glass's score in it, it would probably be like an 8 out of 10 film for me. Because of his score, it elevates it to a 10 out of 10. Just because of the score. So it's another one, the ending especially in this movie, that it just gets elevated to the extreme because of Fritzi's score. Wouldn't be as masterful without it, but still so good in every other way. And yes, you will definitely see more of it hanging around here. So Glad you liked it, May. Glad you liked it, Diva. Glad everyone had a fun time. Thank you, everyone, for stopping in. And time is like 5 almost. I'll have that Lynch video out later on, probably in a few hours or so. Yeah, the score is fantastic, Zodiac. I did the cover of it, which was so much fun to do, which I will leave with that. I'll talk to you guys soon. Love you all. See you later.